States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda, please.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. So we'll jump into business right away. We called this special meeting for city response to the COVID-19. As of this morning, this afternoon, I did sign a mayoral proclamation declaring a state of emergency for the peacetime. It's a peacetime emergency due to the COVID-19 health pandemic. I won't read through the entire proclamation. It's 3 pages, but it will be posted on the city website for anyone to view. I don't want to, there wasn't any panic that drove this. It was actually, as we worked through the week, it wasn't even my intent to do this, but because this is changing so much and every day and it's so fluid, I wanted to give some flexibility to the administrator, to the mayor, to the fire chief, who is the, per our emergency management plan, he is our director of management. Give some flexibility in case we had to make some quick decisions, sign some contracts, spend some extra money, do some certain things. So that's why I did it, not from a panic standpoint. So that being said, these declaration of emergencies signed by the mayor can only last for 3 days. We need council approval for an extension on those. So I'm asking for an extension to go through April 30th, 6 weeks. So that being said, I'd look for a motion to approve Resolution 3-19-20-14, which enacts under the authority of Minnesota Statute Section 12.29 and 12.37 to extend the period of the mayoral declared local emergency until April 30th, 2020.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Now, Maggie, why don't you go ahead and give some little background on what's been going on the last few days.
Okay, Mayor and Council, I just want to give you an update on what the city has been doing as far as monitoring and preparing for COVID-19. As the city continues to monitor and prepare for the spread of COVID-19, we've been making some temporary adjustments to operations and facilities. The health and safety of residents, businesses, and employees is our top priority. Adjustments are being made to mitigate the spread of COVID-19, and these are based on the most recent guidance from state and federal agencies, including the CDC, Minnesota Department of Health, and other community health agencies. So the city has currently taken steps to implement social distancing in its public spaces. This includes closing the community center to all events. So we are currently suspending rental requests for the community center until further notice. There are no cancellation fees for previously scheduled events, and any deposits will be refunded. City Hall remains open, although closure could happen at a later date. If closure occurs, city staff will continue to work on site or remotely to keep all critical services active. If City Hall does close, appointments could be made if necessary. Staff has also started cross-training. Public Works will assist property owners more over the phone and will do only home visits in emergency situations. Administrative staff is promoting anything that can be done through mail, email, or phone to be done through that method. Staff is also being told to stay home if feeling ill. If at work, staff is being told to maintain social distancing requirements when they can. Public Works employees have started to drive in separate vehicles. Staff continues to be updated regularly through conference calls, emails, and phone calls with county offices and other city entities. Topics include the latest discussion on COVID-19 that is happening globally, nationally, and locally. And staff continues to post important updates and resources on the city website and social media sites. Critical services will continue. This includes for the Public Works Department, water, sewer, and vital maintenance. It also includes fire and police response services. Administrative staff will maintain services that are vital to keeping the city running. This includes accounts payable, receivable, payroll, project management, and the like. At this time, most consultants are working remotely, with the exception of the building inspector. In worst-case scenarios, staff has been in contact with neighboring community staff and private consultants to utilize as backup if needed. Limiting non-essential services for services that can be done over the phone, by email, or through website. That is what staff is promoting. And for those items that can wait, as we spend more time on these more vital services, we will assess and set aside for the time being. A little update from the response from other city service organizations. Xcel Energy, they call to update that services will be as usual and that residents will see no impact. They also inform that they will be extending their cold weather rule and will not be shutting off any services at this time for non-payment. Sheriff's Department has started limiting certain areas of their office. They are staggering schedule assignments and working off-site if possible. Social visits to the jail are suspended. Deputies are not responding to flu-like symptom calls unless life-saving intervention is needed or requested by paramedics. Deputy Bankston is currently doing rotations as usual throughout the community. The Mayor Fire Department, they've canceled all non-essential meetings and trainings. They're putting in measures, new measures in place when they respond to calls. Those who respond to calls and do not make the response truck are sent home immediately. Conducting education and training through the internet. They are not doing any ride-alongs or tours, and they are cleaning their gear and building more often. Carver County Government, suspension of walk-up services except for emergency operations. They're closing all their entrances to county facilities starting on March 17th, and the Justice Center and county courts will remain open, but they're staggering their work schedules as well. Carver County libraries are closed. Metro West Inspection, they do our building inspections. They have made no changes at this time, and inspections will go forward as normal if requested. Republic Services, as our garbage service, they are maintaining routes as usual. They're cleaning their trucks more frequently and supplying drivers with more personal protective equipment. Watertown Mayor Schools, they're changing to online learning. They do have a school breakfast lunch program that they're distributing currently at Mayor Lutheran High and Mayor City Hall between the hours of 11 and 1. What the city has been doing to support city businesses, we have mailed any resources that we have become aware of. We've mailed them those resources to make sure that they're being caught up with what they can do during this time. We've also posted small business resources on the website. We're also encouraging and supporting business by promoting residents to still utilize and support our businesses through delivery and curbside pickup. With that, so as the city continues to work with community partners, and that includes Carver County Public Health and League of Minnesota Cities, to prepare and adjust for this rapidly changing environment, we will continue as staff to post things on social media on the website. And while staff has taken steps necessary to limit exposure of employees, residents, visitors, and council, we do need some decisions still to be made by council. One is gatherings. So my recommendation is to cancel all non-essential meetings scheduled within the next 6 weeks. That includes the April 7th Planning Commission, the April 14th Park Commission, and any other private groups or public groups that use the community center or city hall. So that would just be for non-essential meetings.
Okay, thank you. That's a great update. Let me just, a couple things. Did you touch on the access now to work remotely if need be?
Oh, yep.
That's been set up through IT now with staff.
Yes, so we do have that ability.
A lot of what we did, and we spent time doing it, obviously, we have small staff 2 people in Public Works, 2 people in the office, it could easily have both Public Works being out for some. So we've got a list of all their critical to keep the business running, keep the city open, and who would cover, who would take care of the wastewater treatment plant, the water filtration. So we have backups for these. And that's where some of this declaring the emergency came from. We may have to get someone to come in to run the water filtration plant, have to sign a contract, have to get some extra money. So it's for those reasons. We think we have a good list of everything. We think we've mitigated everything, that we should not have any problems. We've talked a lot with staff, with the personnel committee, and we feel that these precautions we're taking are certainly sufficient for what we need to, for where we're at right now. So we felt pretty comfortable with that. So that being said, I'll open it up if there's anyone who does want to talk about some different things, if we feel we're not doing the right too much, too little, and would like to make a separate motion for something to change. But I'll give that opportunity if there's anything anyone wants to talk about what Maggie just listed. And if not, then we'll just move into the list of things we need to take action on. Or if anyone has any discussion, they want any questions on, it was a pretty lengthy list.
Officer Bengston, are the closed businesses kind of being watched over a little bit more now that they're closed? They're not people there as often as what there would be? So my concern is for them that they have a little bit more of someone watching over their businesses as they're closed, and maybe
From
a little bit more vulnerable.
Security, safety standpoint, yeah.
And maybe just put the word out to the Atom cars that they could come through and look. I mean, I know every town has it, but once you're done, at 10 o'clock or whatever, then thank you. Were any bookings canceled? Was the community center booked for something that had to be canceled?
There's actually quite a few events that came in, but actually most of the events that were scheduled, they called and canceled themselves. I think we had like a couple private events, and then we had a wedding, and just but the everything within 6 weeks, most everybody has called, or we've asked them to consider rescheduling until a later time.
How far out did you cancel?
Yeah.
To the end of April. Okay, and then you said something about maybe kind of prioritizing some projects within the city. Which projects have been kind of put on the back burner that were probably in progress, but now?
I mean, I would say this week has been mostly focused on COVID-19. There aren't any projects that I can see that will get pushed off like entirely for this whole time frame. I just think some things might slow down. So I think just as we prioritize trying to get everything in place, there might just be a few projects that might get pushed, like their timelines pushed a little bit further down. But I have spoken with the city engineer and the city planner, and we do feel that everything that needs to happen that have sensitive timelines will get done. That includes our water projects, our street project, our anything else that we have planned this year. Fire station, I have talked to the fire chief. I think it's just there's some things that included public information sessions that will have to get pushed off. I just told him too that just with everything going on, the timeline will likely get pushed down a little bit. I mean, I don't see that like the big things will have a huge impact. Again, I think unless we do have a reduction in staff, I think as right now we're kind of doing business as usual, but again, this week has been focused mostly on COVID-19. So we're just kind of reassessing as the situation keeps moving forward, kind of what we're focusing on.
Any other questions, comments? All right, let's let's start, we can start on some of these items then that we need to take action on.
Okay, so my first one was gathering, so my recommendation was canceling non-essential meetings scheduled within the next 6 weeks. So that would be the Planning Commission, the Park Commission. I did talk with the city planner, and he felt that that would be fine. We didn't have anything that needed to be done that was time sensitive. Park Commission, I looked and reviewed their schedule. I think we're okay for the most part to push that off. And then also just canceling and maintaining, not bringing any new groups in until after April 30th at this time for the Community Center City Hall.
All right. I don't have this sheet in front of me, so I'll
Oh.
look for a motion to close. What did you?
Just
Meetings? How did you have it labeled? I don't have it.
canceling non-essential meetings.
Canceling non-essential meetings. I'll look for a motion.
Moved. Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
And then the next one would be in order to maintain essential meetings, that includes city council. We would, for essential meetings, we would keep it to paying claims and other items that have sensitive timelines, depending on if we keep this format or consider teleconference. We do have the ability to now go teleconference if we need to. In front of you is a resolution that says that we can go teleconference. It just says that we may have the option to do that if needed. That resolution kind of tells you that Minnesota statute allows this at this time. And so with that, I'm open to discussion as to how you want to handle essential meetings moving forward. I guess since we're speaking till April 30th, I guess we can always reassess later, but at this time, for those 6 weeks, how would you like to handle essential meetings?
I'd like to see things kind of continue on with the essential meetings.
On site?
Mhm.
I agree.
As long as no one is actively sick, yes.
I agree also. I think so too. I think that sends the right message. I think, staff is in doing their thing. We should be doing our thing. I don't see any reason to change it in my mind. I can get on board approving this resolution just to give us some language in there if something does change in 2 weeks and some other orders, or not some other orders come down, but something happens where we decide we need to. We found maybe a few council members did test positive, and we decide we want to go electronic. At least we'll have that flexibility. But otherwise, for me, I'd rather still have the meetings here with business as usual. Mm-hmm. We'll keep the agendas as small as we can. We'll keep it just to essential things that we need to discuss. We'll get in, we'll get out. We won't have public hearings. We won't do things like that. We won't have big controversial items on there that a lot of public would have. We don't have room for enough public, and so I think we can do things like that. But what's business as usual, I think. Any other comments?
No, that's fine. Agree.
So I'll look for a motion to approve Resolution 3.19.20.15 regarding public meetings during the period of local emergency that may be utilized if necessary.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, next item, cleaning services. So just with City Hall staying open at this time, the thought was to authorize extra cleaning beyond, not just at City Hall, but maybe at Public Works facility and fire station as well. We do have a cleaning service that would be able to do an extra cleaning during the week if we feel that that's necessary. So my recommendation would be to authorize extra cleaning since we do have some of these public spaces still being used.
So look for a motion to approve, to authorize additional cleaning at the fire station and public works buildings with our current contractor.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
If the fire department is doing extra cleaning, I trust the firemen to know what to clean and how to clean things as opposed to a cleaning service. So I guess I'm a little concerned about having someone who doesn't know exactly.
We did talk about that with the chief. The plan would be to continue to have the fire department be in the apparatus area and the trucks and those sorts of things.
Okay.
This will be more in the meeting room, the tables, the chairs, those sorts of things.
Bathrooms.
Yep.
I'm
Same thing with public works.
I'm
Yep,
assuming
correct.
this cleaning is more of a disinfecting, because
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not of like not
they're
a
using actual disinfectant,
More
they have the,
sanitizing their area. Oh, good.
and then can we also get some in here, like wipes or whatever? Good luck finding them, but
Yes, we have.
Yeah, we have some back there, but we have wipes too that we can bring in
This room
here.
will get cleaned after the meet. It'll
Right.
get cleaned after it gets used. What we're hoping is there won't be an additional charges or very minimal. As a community center now is shut down, there's no cleaning that has to take place in there, so they can use their time to go to the other place. So we think it's going to be very minimal, if anything. So we're just kind of shuffling things around.
I wouldn't be opposed if they did want a little additional funding if needed.
Yeah, that may come to that. It may come to that. All right, any
I think it's
further?
important.
I'm sorry. Yeah, agreed. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Next item is staff shifts. So recommendation is to maintain status quo. So we wouldn't change anything and we just reassess in the future. Some cities are doing, like worst case scenario options would be splitting staff shifts, like 10-hour day rotation days or 2 hour, like kind of 2 days on, 2 days off, kind of separate staff. And then mutual aid from other communities. We're not there at this time, so we're recommending just keeping things the same.
Yep, and I agree, and I'll entertain a motion if someone would like to make it, otherwise we'll keep it status quo.
I'll make that motion.
To keep it status quo?
Status quo, sorry.
Okay, we have a motion and a
I'll second
second to
that.
keep staff hours status quo. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Anything else, Maggie?
Okay, next one, public services, so water and sewer, just something that cities are doing and I'm recommending is to assure residents that water and sewer services would not be shut off at this time if there were non-payment until April 30th.
Okay, we'll look for a motion to approve that water and sewer will not be shut off for any resident or business through April 30th, 2020.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll s-
Is that McNeely? We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion?
I
All in
think
favor?
it's the right thing to do,
Yeah.
The gas companies, large companies are doing the same thing. People might be losing jobs, we want to make sure that everybody's staying.
I agree, and I think I think at the state level, they just implemented that no evictions. They can't do any evictions also. I agree. I think this is the right thing to do. Any further discussion? Excuse me. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
And then last, just kind of informational, but also open for discussion, is employee sick leave. So federal law that was signed yesterday, states that starting April 2nd, 2020, full-time employees will be entitled to 80 hours paid sick leave for certain COVID-19 related situations. So this would not be added to existing sick leave balance and cannot be carried forward, but would be a separate bank available. So staff has been in contact with other cities to see how they're responding to the current situation. With the new law passed yesterday, cities are quickly kind of trying to put their message together to send to their employees what that means and stuff like that. So I just wanted to give that update to you as we do want to send a message to employees about, if they do get the sick, kind of what will happen. So.
Good. Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's great that they have come out and done that. It'll help gap that, get through the gaps on things. Obviously, if things change here in the city and we have to address things, we'll address them on a case-by-case basis, and we'll work through it and do what's right for our employees and as things happen. So, and obviously utilize this. So, right, anything else on that?
Absolutely. If you're sick, stay home. You got
Yep.
people you have to take care of. If you take care of them, we'll support you 100%.
Right. I think that's
Absolutely.
one of the main messages, yes.
And you had mentioned that it was 80 hours.
80 hours.
So if the staff member has to go beyond the 80 hours, so let's say they're at home taking care of a loved one for a couple weeks, and then oops, now they come down with it, and they go beyond that 80 hours. What's the plan then? Are they going to have to go into their PTO balance, and what if they go negative?
So that is something that the council would have to discuss and decide. I know some cities are allowing people to go negative. It's very situational, so I know it depends. So some cities are saying if it's not related to COVID-19, you would still use your PTO as normal, or if you're taking trips to the doctor and stuff like that. It's just very situational depending on what council decides. Other cities are also, like if you're mandated to stay home, they still pay you as if you were here. So that is something that we will have to discuss and can discuss. What.
I think we need to do a little bit more research on what's in place, federal and state-wise, as far as providing for people who are affected by it.
Yeah, I do have emails into all the neighboring cities. Again, I should have more information tomorrow because with this new law, I think a lot of people are kind of doing temporary personnel policy changes. And with this new law, they're kind of reassessing what that means and what they're going to offer. And so I do have a couple people who said that they'll send me what their council decides tomorrow, and at least that'll give us an idea what other cities are doing, and then we can have a discussion to kind of what's kind of happening.
So to answer your question, we don't have a great plan in place right today. This now 2 weeks gives us that, it buys us some time to if something does happen, we have 2 weeks and we can get something in place. Some of these other cities that have implemented right away, obviously larger cities, 40, 50, 60 employees, and it's already affected their city, so they've had to get things in place immediately because they're already seeing it with people being out. So we'll certainly, case by case as things happen, or hopefully they don't happen, and we don't have to address it. But if we have to, we'll get together again and figure out what we're doing. And obviously keeping the collective bargaining unit, as part of that, we have to take that into account also. So we'll make sure we get done what we need to get done. Anything else? Maggie, do you have more?
I don't have any more.
That's the entire list. So that, and again, like Maggie said, with the businesses, the restaurants being shut down, I know Agave restaurant is doing takeout orders, and Knuckleheads is also. You can get all their information off their Facebook pages, so I think that's good. And with that, I have nothing else. Anything else anyone wants to comment on? So again, I appreciate staff, everything you've done these last few days. I know it's been hectic. I know you've had to deal with me quite a bit, and it hasn't been a lot of fun, but we're getting there. We're moving forward, and I think we have a great plan in place, and I think we're set good. The city's set good. We have backup plans. Things will remain running. And again, we can always lean on Carver County and the state if need be. So with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. 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 All same sign. We are adjourned.